What's going on, everybody? And welcome to another edition of the Six Gaming Podcast. Filling in for your host, as always, it's Frankly. I'm sure Shosan said some really nice things last week about me not being here.
Yeah, he said that I should be the host.
Oh, jeez. I heard that Veg lied and said that he's going to be hosting 150. I don't think we're letting him do that.
That'd be the largest podcast on Earth.
Yeah, it would be the largest ever. Although he's hosted some before, and that's the whole reason why the last one he hosted, we're like, okay, you're never doing that again. Never. Anyway, the Six Gaming Podcast. This is episode number 144, which, by the way, is 12 squared.
Yeah.
It's 6 times 2 times itself. So that means that.
Holy shit! Half-Life 3 confirmed. Nice job.
Yeah, leaping
nice
logic.
job.
I mean, that makes sense.
Anyway, I have a wonderful and perfectly, well, maybe not healthy set of awesome and illustrious podcasters today, starting with the cute koala.
Hey guys, as always, Coles is here.
As always.
Yes.
We throw the term always around pretty loosely around here. But yes, we also have the lovely sounding solo male.
I am sick as shit.
Well, we're glad you joined us. And we're glad that you all joined us too. So let's go ahead. We'll get right into it with the first half of the show. And Solo, you now realize why I can't even hold a candle to the way that Shosan does this. Because I just can't put the whole news thing that he puts into it. I just can't. He just lets it go. He's got no shame. And it's great. I love it. So anyway, this is news. And we have quite a bit of news this week. Starting with a pair of buddies of ours. How about those processor chip flaws? Holy crap.
Yeah, I happened to get my I happened to build my PC like just months before the Ryzen was announced, and like it's like one of the only times in history when I actually bought a CPU when I could have, like, when it's like the only time when a CPU immediately got obsoleted by something else, you know. And now I found out that it's freaking.
Yep. Meltdown, of course, is the Intel specific bug that many operating systems have gone out of their way to patch at the expense of performance in some cases. Fortunately, actual games that you play are not affected. But apparently there's been some other things have been affected. We'll get to that in a second. Then Spectre, of course, well, this is just basically comes down to the way that chips are made, and they came up with this vulnerability, and so far there hasn't been an exploit for it. But the Spectre vulnerability is one that they don't know how to fix without fixing the hardware, and that's what's really messing a lot of people up right now, because that means that somebody could write something that could basically read the entire dump of your memory, which kind of sucks.
No, they'll steal all my videos.
Yeah, they'll steal as long. Well, I mean, if you work with video and memory, yes, but if you just leave them on your drive, you should be fine.
Yeah, something like this happened to if something like this happened to a company that wasn't as like huge and established as Intel, then they would basically be dead.
And the best part about the whole Intel thing is the CEO of Intel, he sold like tens of millions of dollars of shares about a month or so before this came out.
Yeah, and their shares went like down quite a bit.
Yes.
After this news came, and then fun fact, AMD went up for not shitting the bed.
Well, no, they did. They did too. ARM as well. All three of them are affected by Spectre.
So, really? I thought AMD was saying their guys weren't.
No, this affects all of them. AMD can say what they want. It's been proven. They've made proven exploits on all three. Macs are affected. iOS phones are affected. There's a lot of things that are affected that might surprise people. So, and then one of the bigger parts of this is that a lot of server operations are affected by this. So one of the companies that really got hit hard by this was Epic Games. Fortnite is facing service issues after their Intel updates went through on their cloud server. So they're working on trying to fix those. But yeah,
I was wondering why they were having like login issues for like the whole like last 3 days.
Oh yeah, it's been pretty awful for them. So they've got some work to do to get that going. So this is one of those times where I really wish Shosan was here, because he like lives by these security stories. He loves talking about them. As a network guy himself, he's very familiar with a lot of these things. So, but yeah, in lighter news, see what I did there?
We're talking about Edge?
No, lighter? No. I'm talking about like actual light, because Plexter has released a solid state drive with some LED in it. So now your hard drive can be as lit up as the inside of your...
Yeah, like first there was stuff like RGB motherboards and GPUs, and then they made RGB RAM and power supplies. Now there's an SSD.
Everything needs to be RGB.
Yep, just light up the whole computer. It's pretty crazy. They range from $109 for the quarter terabyte version all the way up to $450 for the full terabyte. It's pretty pricey, but I mean, it's solid state. Solid states are pretty good. So, but the lighting, it's just like, I mean, people love customizing their PCs with lighting like this, I guess.
I want to light up my monitor. It's like the last thing I can't light up.
Your
like the outside of my monitor. I want it to like glow.
No, fun fact, Coles, you may not know this, but your monitor has 2,073,600 LED lights on it.
Yeah, but I want them on the outside.
You want them on the outside? It technically is on the outside. Just saying.
I want them on the frame of my monitor.
Yes. I'm getting all in the math today. What's wrong with me? I don't even know. But yeah. And Shosan commented on this story. He says, everyone knows RGB makes your computer go faster.
It does.
So yeah,
obviously.
That's RGB.
Begins with R. RPM goes fast. So RBG, RGB, RPG, those things are
rocket.
And then Solo found this one. I actually read about this as well. It looks like the World Health Organization is now going to be recognizing what they call gaming disorder, which is an acute addiction to playing video games. It now can be recognized as an official classification of diseases.
It's interesting because this came out, and at the same time, the DSM version 6 is looking at internet addiction as a disorder. So the fact that I think the last time this was updated was like what, 1998.
Yep.
Like that it's updated for gaming addiction.
Yep. They go on to say that the disorder is characterized by a pattern of persistent or recurring gaming behavior, which may be online or offline. Symptoms include giving increasing priority given to gaming so that it takes over other life interests and daily activities. So it's kind of funny because I think we've all known a person like this at some point, where they just are so into games that it ruins their lives. And we see, you see things where, like on those daytime TV shows, like I don't know what was the name of one of them, Maury Povich, or those the really ridiculous ones. They'll bring on this wife who's pleading with her husband to stop gaming because it's ruining their life and they're not paying attention to their child. And when people sell their kids, there's stuff like that.
Or the 60 Minutes where the parents like played World of Warcraft so much like that they neglected their child and the child eventually died from starvation.
Lovely, yeah, stuff like that. So incredible.
Yeah, it makes sense.
What people
There's
do.
nothing. Yeah, there's nothing else they're covering it. So this, I think the diagnosis is definitely needed for stuff like that.
Yeah, so that's going to be a thing going forward. And we have some other news here. What? Oh boy, we didn't we just? Oh, this isn't technically Half-Life 3, but there's a story for a fan-made version of Half-Life 2 Episode 3, and it's pretty. Apparently, it looks pretty well done. I mean, there's this picture here of this Arctic head crab.
So for anyone who's who only knows about like Half-Life 3 from the memes, I just want to let you know that Half-Life 2 Episode 3, basically after Half-Life 2, they came out with Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and Episode 2, which were continuations of Half-Life 2, and then Half-Life 2 ended on this massive cliffhanger. So there's no question that Half-Life 2 Episode 3 should exist. Like I don't think that Half-Life 3 has a right to exist, but Half-Life 2 Episode 3 definitely needed to exist at some point. So this is something that I'm really glad about.
But this is more of a fan-made version of it, and who knows what Valve's going to do with this. They could shut it down. They could just ignore it. It's hard to tell.
You know, they could try to make it off-brand as possible and then let fans fill in the blanks with their imagination.
Yep. And since it's going to be based on the Episode 3 synopsis that was published by Mark Laidlaw earlier, which we covered as well, with the funny names and stuff like that, you know who they are when you see the names, but it's not the same person. But yeah, that's going to be a thing. I think that's... I wonder. I really wonder what Valve's going to do. That's my main concern with that, is Valve might just step on that and say you're done. But anyway, meanwhile, there's a sequel coming out to. I didn't even know this had an original game. Something called Beholder. What exactly is Beholder?
I've heard of Bejeweled. Does that count?
Bejeweled? No, it doesn't count.
I think maybe it has something to do with Dungeons and Dragons.
Apparently, it's a government spying sim.
Yeah,
that's. I mean,
there
was that one time where the government was spying on my computer.
That wasn't the government. That was some hacker that wanted free stuff.
Well, that's true too. They will spy on my computer.
But yeah, apparently, you get tasked with climbing a career ladder in a shady government department, and there's going to be a sequel to this coming out in the second half of 2018. I'm trying to see. It looks like Warm Lamp Games is the developer on this, so interesting stuff. I wonder how much this parallels all the stuff that's going on in real life politics right now.
Yeah, that would be something to look at.
Yeah, if anything. Yeah. D&D game was Eye of the Beholder. Yep, it was. That's how you get the D&D connection there. And then we also have some information on Platinum Games working on 2 self-published games, which kind of is like, it's kind of independent, but they have, AAA style going with it. Platinum Games, of course, they developed Bayonetta and Vanquish. Bayonetta is, of course, a pretty big series. I've never actually played Bayonetta, but I've seen it played, and it looks entertaining, to say the least. But they say that they want to sell all their games on PC, not just on consoles. So whatever they're doing, they're creating their own IP, making their own game, and they want to put this out there. So if any of their past successes say anything, that might be some good news for gaming.
Yeah, like
whenever they decide to release it.
Like Platinum Games are a development studio that like one of the few development studios that can really pull off kinds of games where it's like huge on I haven't played Bayonetta yet, so I can't really say for sure, but basically the whole Devil May Cry style, like high budget, a flashy spectacle, high, like very demanding kind of beat 'em up game. Like they're one of the few studios that can really do it well.
Yep.
Nowadays, so it's good that they're
Also kind of leads me in a tangent, but it's funny that a lot of like AAA publishers this year were outshone by smaller like developers. Like Persona 5 was up there for Game of the Year. Horizon Zero Dawn was up there for Game of the Year. And then of course Nintendo. But I mean like if you look at like Battlefront 2, did horrible. The new Call of Duty, not great. So it's nice seeing that you don't need to be this giant team, or even Destiny 2. Like,
yeah, especially since like a lot of the narrative over the past couple months have seen, holy shit, these AAA companies are really starting to suck.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, and the gaming flag will always be picked up by someone. There's a lot of good independent games that have made it big, and there will be more independent games making it big in the future. So I think it's pretty good. So yeah, and then one last bit of news that came up. There's been a new PTR patch for Overwatch, and Mercy kind of got nerfed, not quite into the ground because she can still fly.
Hey.
Yes. So basically, it's her resurrect ability has always been a subject of debate. It was too powerful, and then they nerfed it down to a single target res. That's just an ability. They added an interrupt charge up time to the ability, so she now doesn't instantly res things, but apparently she still has become the most picked hero in the game. So now they're going to do this new nerf on her. They're reducing her ability down to 15 seconds. She no longer gets an extra resurrect, and it doesn't remove its cast time. So the speed boost is also down to 50% as well. So basically, this whole rework of Mercy seems to have just been a bit of a mess,
Yeah,
to say the least.
I mean, it makes sense though, because like she's the best single target healer in the game, and like
but
to be the most played.
Thing is, she's supposed to be. That's like
exactly
the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when Overwatch first came out, there were inevitably comparisons to Team Fortress 2, and like when you compare like the medic, like what the medic is capable of, like to what Mercy was capable of, like the ability, like the Mercy was able to like immediately dash to enemies and like, or not enemies, teammates, and fly and resurrect stuff, and like as well as have the medigun ability, like with the medic, you barely got anything like that. Like the most you got is the ability to use the quick fix to rocket jump alongside a roamer or whatever, and like heal someone from range with the Crusader's crossbow. That's basically your most interesting options that you got.
Yep.
And other than that, you're almost helpless to really do anything special.
Yep. And then Junkrat also got a small nerf in this, where his concussion mine, the damage fall off from the center of the blast, it trails off pretty significantly. So you still get the full damage if you hit your target dead on, but there's not going to be this massive explosion of champions at the same time from one concussion mine. So it's more balanced updates. Hopefully the Mercy one gets a little smoothed out, I guess. And then, of course, talk about esports action. Overwatch League begins Wednesday. It's going to be Wednesday at 4:00, and we'll see how this league settles in. I'm thinking of trying to follow it, but I don't really have a whole lot of time to put into following another esports league, considering how poorly I put time into LOL esports. But we'll see if this takes off, if this is going to be a big deal, or if it's just going to be a thing that Blizzard puts together every now and again. I would be surprised. This is going to be my prediction for this. It's going to be a good league, but they're going to eventually drop the whole city thing. I don't think that's going to work.
So do they like travel to city?
No, they don't do that.
It's all on land or all online. I mean,
It is all on land. Yeah.
oh,
So that's the thing, is that I just don't think that it's a neat idea, but it's going to be hard for them to actually do that.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
we'll see what they do with that. So that's going to do it for the news this week. So we're going to go ahead and move on to the second half of the show. It's Shosun's favorite half of the show, and this is boom, the playlist. Let's go.
Playlist.
Coles, what have you been playing?
I've been actually playing a metric ton of Final Fantasy 14 online.
Oh, so you're back into that?
Yes, I got back into it about like December 21st ish, and I've just been playing it like since. Been leveling up to 70. I have my first class up to 70. Doing a second class. That's the new level cap. And then I'm trying out the new classes that came with the expansion. It's Red Mage and Samurai. And Red Mage is so unbelievably fun. Like you cast magic, but then you like have a sword, so you can do both. It's like really interesting.
Cool.
And then other than that, I've been playing some League of Legends. So League of Legends patch 8.1 is slated for next week sometime for season 8 to begin.
Right. Yeah, they're in the preseason right now, I believe.
Yeah, and it's a jumbled mess. So hopefully they fix stuff.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, everybody does more damage because they took out all the old runes and added these new runes. And so it's a really snowbally game. So if you fall behind in lane, it's hard to catch back up.
So
and I'm sure they'll.
So basically, I'd be bronze for life.
Well, no, because if you get ahead in lane, then you win the game.
Yeah, but my laning phase is terrible. It's the worst part of my game. So I'd be so done.
It's painful right now. So I've taken a little bit of break from that. We are doing our collegiate team season. Starts up. The CSL starts the 16th. Hopefully, it starts the 16th. Battlefy have had the worst issues I've ever seen. So we signed up by December 3rd. December 12th, we got a notification saying they have lost 50% of the contracts that people sent in for their teams to be signed up. So they lost them. So we every team had to make brand new ones. So the bracket was supposed to be up December 21st. It just came up yesterday. Not only that, they have the managers all off the team. So everybody that's supposed to set up the scheduling, they're not on the team anymore. So they're gonna have to remake all the teams before the 16th. Again. It's like for a while there, we weren't even sure if they're gonna be like a collegiate spring tournament this year.
That's interesting.
Yes, it was a.
Now, is this just a regional thing, or is this
this is
actual?
This is North America. So
this is the actual Riot sponsored.
Yeah.
Thing, and they just completely screwed it.
Yeah, this is their first year of Battlefy being the sponsored people to set this up.
Oh, okay. So Riot's contracting these guys to do their work, and they're sucking hard.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
They messed it up and it's not like it was something difficult. It's just like, wow, they just flipped the boat and then sunk it to the bottom of the ocean with the Titanic.
That's lovely. Anything else you've been working on?
For now, I'm not in school until the 22nd, so I've been just grinding away on some Persona 5 here and there, and then Final Fantasy 14 is about it.
Nice. All right, sounds good. I don't know if we got Solo back yet.
Oh yeah, I'm back. I said the playlist in case you couldn't hear.
Oh yeah. I didn't realize you hadn't left, or you did left there. Whatever, you know what I mean. What have you been playing?
So a few days ago, something occurred to me. I realized that I got over 70 wins with Cadence encrypted the Necrodancer. So if I could do that without much trouble, then I could do the same with Nocturna, and she's a much safer character. So I've been working on getting the world record for Nocturne Deathless, and now I have almost 60 wins. And the current world record is 75.
Hey, about Nocturna, knock knock. Nocturna.
No, I won.
Nocturna into a bata.
It was knock your turn there, Ron.
Hey, Coles.
Yeah.
Knock it off.
Uh,
All right. Anything else? Gonna be getting that record.
Yeah, there were a couple times when I suddenly got grabbed by a monkey, and then I was held down while a Minotaur hit me a couple times, and then I turned into a bat.
A what? A what?
There were a couple times when I got suddenly grabbed by a monkey.
Right, we got that part.
I got rammed into by a Minotaur a couple times.
What?
If this is a setup for another joke, I swear.
No, it's not a setup for another joke. I'm just trying to figure out what you're talking about.
I was talking about Minotaurs. Minotaurs. I don't know. Well, click in your brain.
Minotaur.
How do I say this?
Well, be Minotaur.
Minotaur.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Minotaur. That's
so
amazing.
I was thinking for a second. Just a second.
He's still thinking.
It sounded like Minior, which is a Pokemon.
No, I wasn't thinking. I was coughing. So anyways, one way that happened was that how do you pronounce it again?
Minotaur?
Minotaur. A Minotaur was approaching from the south, and as it turns out, there was a monkey that was directly above it that I couldn't quite see, and of course,
large sprites.
yeah, of course.
Are you familiar with the Toon mod?
No.
The Toon mod makes it so that if something's behind a large sprite, you can see it.
Oh.
They basically replace the image. The upper half of those large sprites are made transparent, so you can see through them, and you can see what's on the other side. There's a bunch of other changes with it as well, like item drops and stuff like that are a little more fair as to what some of the community would believe is fair. So, but yeah, go on. After you're done coughing.
You know, coughing is also a Pokemon.
I think it's spelled coffin, actually. Like coughing. Okay, coughing. Like there you go.
It's Koffing. And then wheezing. If you're wheezing, then that's the evolution.
Moving.
Sorry, I'm just mucking it up in here. That's another Pokemon, by the way.
Yeah. So. Also today I got to break in my new mechanical keyboard that I just got.
Oh, how is it?
It's it's really slick. I like it, and like lighting, definitely looks amazing as well.
Oh, you got the RGB. Oh, you're gonna have every Necrodancer world record with that.
Not RGB, but
darn,
it's does look really fancy, like the way that the way that the glow comes from underneath the keys and it kind of bounces around.
Absolutely, yeah. Sounds good.
And
I wonder if that would help with my League mechanics.
It might.
Mechanical keyboard.
No, for fuck's sake.
And so also something really dumb that I decided to do earlier this week was well, I kind of had Keeper on my mind after some stuff that happened, and I decided to just I had like this video in the background that I was listening to, and I decided I just go for it. I keep resetting its Keeper until I got something decent, so I could get like some of the final post-it notes on my third save file, because like my first save file I already got 1,000,000%. I got literally everything on there. My second save file is for streaming, and my third save file is just one that I've just been working on when I have the time. No, it wasn't.
Jesus Christ. Port Jordan, get out.
Yeah, I think that you were supposed to say that to Coles because I think that it would be easier for him to get a webcam.
Yeah.
I have a webcam.
He has a webcam. He just doesn't use it because...
I do use it. It's just in use.
Well, you use it for other things. And if you were to use it on the podcast, then we'd get banned from Twitch.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, yes. So there's that.
Yeah. So, anyways, it took me several minutes to reset to get a good item with as keeper, but I eventually got Tech X. And so, you know what that is, right? It it basically it replaces your tears with chargeable laser rings that
Okay.
have piercing and spectral
Got it.
properties, and it's like the best boss rush weapon in the game, like the best boss rush, hush, and delirium item in the game. So I decided, well, I guess now I have to do all three this run, and I did.
Nice. Fantastic.
But there's one thing about that run that I gotta let you know about. I only got one tears up the entire time, and it was like really minor. Like it reduced my tier delay by like 5%, and I ended up getting quad shot at one point, which like quadrupled the charge up time.
Right.
So basically, the run became Tech X charging purgatory, because like after I fired a shot, I had to wait like 2 seconds before it even start charging,
That's awful.
and like I knew that it would take me forever to get a run as good as that again, and I had like swallowed penny. So basically, if I took damage, I could just pick up the pennies really quick before I took damage again. If I didn't get unlucky with like my iframes and like
Right.
the projectiles that were around. So it was a real piece of work to fight delirium and almost die several times.
Wow.
Uh,
Pretty crazy run.
yeah, but
I when I watch that game, I mostly watch it for speed runs. I don't actually know a whole lot about the game because of that.
yeah, I
Because
kind of
a speed run is basically resetting for 20 minutes and then getting a good item and then dying on the third floor and then resetting for another 20
basically
minutes.
like if you want to get the boss rush, hush, and delirium stuff done as efficiently as possible, you have to do that. Like you have to do that speedrunning thing. You know, like that's what I have to do every time that I try to go for that.
No.
You know, then that basically becomes like whenever I do the daily challenge, you know, like getting boss rush and hush are the cause the biggest boosts to your score. So I always have to try and go for boss rush every time I start the daily. So it can get like, since I'm not used to speedrunning, it gets really stressful.
Interesting. All right. Anything else?
Not really.
All right. Yeah, a few things I've been doing.
Sounds like
continuing. Did you forget to mute?
No, I was just you talked over me, and I was saying that's not actually what it sounds like. It sounds like a cough.
Oh, well, yeah, that does sound like a cough.
Yep.
Yeah, so I've been playing a bit more Cactus. I've gotten another level under my belt for Purple S+, so I'm more than halfway through. 13 down, 12 to go. So we'll see how that goes. I've actually had to also stop playing that game at times because it's just it's a grind. It is a hell of a grind. So we'll see how much further I get on that. Been doing a bit of Necrodancer. I got an Eli PB recently, which was kind of interesting. Jumped up to 26th on that. So it's pretty neat that all my characters are in the top 40. I did not have that pre-DLC. So I don't know if that's just all the good players aren't running all the characters, or I've actually gotten better at the game, which I'm not sure if that's the case or not. So we'll see. Actually been picking up No Man's Sky a little bit again.
Ooh.
Yeah. I started playing that again, and well, first of all, the base editions are kind of neat. I haven't gotten anywhere near a full base yet, but I think the vehicles were a well-intentioned idea that didn't work out very well. It's great if you want to just sit on a single planet and explore, but if you actually want to play the game and do other things, you're kind of tethered to your ship, and you can't take your vehicles with you off planet. So there's things like that. One of the things that bothers me about the game, about the updates, is that a lot of the things that they added as quests to add depth to the game are just basically other quests that are repurposed for the same thing. So, for instance, like one time I had to take a Corvax's core to a monolith. And all you do is go to the monolith, and instead of getting the monolith quest, you get his quest. And that's the only difference. You finish it, and you go back. So it's kind of more like a go out, do this, and come back. They have like generic missions that are like mind-numbingly generic, like go out and kill 3 pirates or go and scan 5 animals, stuff like that. While I don't think it's a bad thing that they introduced them, it's I don't know. It's kind of, to me, I'm just kind of like exploring what the content is. There's apparently a new story involving a new character, and you get to talk to the character. More travelers are starting to show up. The travelers of the race that you are. So you're starting to see those around, which is kind of cool. So I'm trying to see what the new story is like, and if it's going to get interesting at all. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. So yeah, I picked up with my old save too, so I'm still in like the second galaxy because I made it to the end of the first galaxy pretty quick. But it's kind of like my game that I play when I'm not sure what I want to play right now.
Does it still kick you back to the home planet after you make it to the center of the universe?
No, it doesn't kick you back to the home planet. It kicks you back to a planet in the next galaxy. There are 256 galaxies in the game. And you go from the first one to the second one, to the third one, to the fourth one. Eventually you loop back around. But who's going to play it 256 times except the most dedicated players? Really?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So there's no like real end of the game still?
There still is no real end of the game, but there are new quest lines to explore. You start learning a lot more about various lore of the game. And you get to build a base, which is pretty fantastic because that helps you get stuff that otherwise would be hard to get. So it's you get there's a lot. I'd say there's probably about double the number of minerals and stuff that you can get in the game. There's way more technology. There's more inventory space because you get these things called cargo slots now. You have separate slots for technology in your exo pack. So you know how you used to build all that technology in your main inventory and took up inventory space? Get that out of there. Move it to the tech side where you can only put tech there. So it's nice. They've given you a lot more inventory to work with. Not only that, you can send inventory to your vehicles if you're on the planet with the vehicles, stuff like that. So it's pretty neat. Definitely a lot more inventory space than you used to have. So it's if you've played it before, and you like the general premise of it, but got bored with it pretty quick, it might be a good idea to go back and take another look at it. Don't expect a whole lot to have changed play style wise. The space fighting is a little harder actually, which I thought was kind of cool because it was kind of easy before.
Yeah,
but most of the time it's pretty much the same basic gameplay that you had before. You're just going from planet to planet, to system, finding stuff. Now you just have a different purpose to it, which is to build your base and find this guy and stuff like that. So, yeah, I still think it's worth revisiting for the new content if you liked the original game. And the final game that I've been playing is one that I won last Sunday. I was watching a gentleman by the name of Mr. Bond who plays Assault Android Cactus, and he did an Infinity Drive run, and he's like, so if you guess the first layer that I get downed on, I'll give you a game out of my Steam library that I have many, many games. And he does this every time he plays. And, usually he makes it to like about, 16, 17, 18 before he ends up dying. And I went into the stream and I said, 5. Sorry. And it was more because I've been having trouble getting by 5 without getting killed myself. So I was like, well, maybe he'll share some of my misery. He did.
Yeah.
He downed on 5. So he awarded me with a free game. And he gave me this massive list where a lot of the games I already had. But one stood out is a game that I've wanted to check out for a long time and just never really had a reason to.
Pokemon?
Undertale.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So I got into Undertale and I streamed that on Thursday. And it was pretty cool because I go through and, I'm going through what I'm only assuming is the tutorial area. And I get into this house and this lady's not letting me leave the house. It's like, oh, you're kidnapping me. All right, I'm going to kill you. So I killed her. And my chat practically revolted on me. I was like, what are you talking about?
So
Did you not see what just happened?
How dare
She
you?
said I couldn't leave. She was going to destroy the exit, so I couldn't leave. That's kidnapping, guys.
And also, not to mention that he almost punched his wife on stream.
My wife is calling me a murderer. I don't.
That's still a game I really want to play, and it's like I've watched speedruns of it, but I've never actually sat down and played through the game myself.
It's a lot of fun so far. It is wacky as hell. You have to read like literally everything. There's puns galore. I mean, there's bad jokes. I mean, it's terrible, but it's so good. There's like one point where the one guy makes a joke and I go into full facepalm mode and then I go and hit the button and the game still zooms in on the guy. The guy's winking and it goes. Are you kidding me? So yeah, Undertale. It's good. Definitely worth checking out. Definitely worth your time. So yeah. All right. So that's going to do it for the second half of the show. And now we've done so much math on this show. I think my math is correct in saying that we have one more half left.
I think that's all right.
That's about right. So this is the third half of the show, and this is the 6 gaming roundtable, and I have nothing this week as I'm completely unprepared.
What if you could make any Pokemon sprite? What would it look like?
Okay, you're too prepared. We have to boot you off the show.
Oh damn! I actually sold my round table, and I have a square table now.
Oh geez, that's why your question was so bad. You gotta get the round table back. Yeah, it's kind of funny because we have a on our Discord we actually have a separate channel for roundtable suggestions and
here I have a roundtable.
Anything good?
If you could have one roundtable question, what would it be?
Oh my god!
It's roundtable session.
Why do I have to do so many face palms on this damn show?
I don't know. Is that a roundtable question?
It is now.
No. Pokemon, and puns.
Yeah, I mean, Peth has been talking about things like maybe doing some kind of new segment or something, but I don't know. It's something to consider.
What would our segment be?
Well, remember before our third half of the show used to be What the Thock.
I thought it was What the Music.
Yeah, exactly. What the Thock are you listening to?
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And we stole that from the terrible pun that was Thock from I don't even remember the expansion.
Cataclysm last raid. It's like the last time I actually raided.
I don't think.
No, it wasn't Cataclysm. It was
Pandaria, wasn't it?
Pandaria, yeah.
I think I know the perfect thing we could add to replace this segment.
Mm-hmm.
We could all come up with we could all try to come up with tweets to roast Ted Cruz on Twitter.
Well, that's not hard. That's
like it.
I mean, we have material for ages, but is it interesting? I don't think so.
Well, it could be competition.
Could be with who?
There are 3 people here right now.
Oh, you're talking about amongst yeah.
Come on, at least he could do his play along.
Oh man. But
move
yeah,
from roundtable to we could move from the roundtable to my square table.
Well, go ahead. Give us a square table question then.
If
you weren't prepared for this, were you?
No, I was prepared for my roundtable question, but not my square table question.
How were you prepared for your roundtable question when you didn't have a roundtable? But you have a square table question and you're not prepared. Who are you, Illidan?
Oh, damn it. I was not prepared. Everything is backwards. Not okay. I feel like Sans.
Jeez,
What I'm
yeah.
told.
But yeah, yeah. As you can tell, we're running kind of light on this segment. Hopefully, we'll get this back at some point. But
Yes.
I don't know. We can make it kind of easy. And
Fun fact of the day.
Uh-oh.
You know, all the Pokemon professors are named after a different kind of tree. Professor Oak, Professor Elm, Professor Birch.
Yeah, you are a birch.
Sycamore, Professor Sycamore.
I'm sick of more of these. Got any more?
Did you know the 3 legendary birds in the classic Pokemon game are Uno, Dos, and Tres?
Oh,
I didn't actually realize that.
I want to reach through the camera and smack you right now.
I mean, only if my webcam can film it.
Let's not go there. That would be a little awkward.
I mean,
but yeah, I mean, it's just, this week was kind of a slow week, and normally we have something that sticks out in the news as something that you'd want to talk about, and this is like this week. It's like,
do you think the MMO genre is dying?
Dead.
You think it's dead?
It's dying.
I think that there's like so much room to grow, and people are scared. Like companies are scared to build into it. Like there's so many things you could do. I think everybody's like trying to copy World of Warcraft still to this day when it comes to MMOs, except Eastern MMOs. That it's like WoW is the best at what it does that any other game will probably ever be.
And that's sad because it's honestly, unless it comes out with something like completely huge and groundbreaking, it might have run its course in terms of not content. I think the content, the story and stuff like that's really cool, but there's only so much you can get people to do to come back.
Yeah, and not to
they're
mention,
running out of ideas.
When you're a new player and you look at 120 levels, you're like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to one of these MMOs at like 60 levels, even though it might not be a great MMO. Like, check out ESO. I don't think it's great, but more and more people are starting that. Final Fantasy 14, I see tons of new players. It's just like I would almost be, for the first time ever, be willing to be like, okay, WoW 2 can be a thing. Just like make your new world like 200 years in the future, and just like 1 to 60, just like make it brand new. You knew the engine, everything. I think that's like the best idea. Other than that, I think WoW could almost go for like just getting rid of leveling of altogether, just like gear progression. Like you can tell, like, because people do that already with rating. It's just like, hey, you can queue up for this dungeon with this amount of gear. You can get this amount of gear here, here, and here. Because I don't know, it's just so daunting. Like trying to even level an alt, like one level 1 to level 120. It might not take very long, but the number itself is just like, wow, no work.
Yeah, it can be pretty daunting. Like, I think about how leveling happens in Diablo these days. It's like so fast, right? And I think that's like the opposite. That's too fast.
Yeah, I agree.
There's too easy, and then there's too grindy. And I'd like to see like a good middle ground where it's challenging, but it's challenging, but it's not going to take you 6 years to do things or feel like it's going to take that long. But I think there's a lot of other ways that MMOs could work. One of the big problems that I have with MMOs in general is the leveling system.
Yeah, I agree.
Take it out. Find a different way to increase power.
Oh, it's like you read my mind. Like I completely agree that I think leveling in MMOs is so outdated.
It is very outdated. It's based on Dungeons and Dragons.
You know what my problem with MMOs is? Like subscriptions, because like spending $10 on a game is a huge thing to ask already, but spending $10 every month is just impossible.
I have I have sometimes I have reservations about it. Usually I don't. I think that it depends on what you're getting for that content.
Well, it's like
that
there's people that will like that I know that like are like, I'm not going to pay, you know, $10 a month for this MMO, but then they buy the $60 season pass for Call of Duty that comes out every year. And so it's just like, what are you going to get more hours out of the $60 expansion pass or like the 6 months you would out of an MMO?
Yeah,
that's just my stance on it. I mean, everybody has their own stance.
Solo dropping the weeb insult. You're only allowed to do that to other podcasters. But I don't know. I guess it's a good question. We've kind of come up with a roundtable here.
Yeah, and also another thing I'd like to see is there's like the roguelike all have these like floors, right? Like I would love to see like a community-based MMO that goes from floor 1 to floor however high you go with your expansions. And just like as a community, you have like your crafters, you have your raiders, you have your dungeon goers, and like as a community, you try to get to the next floor. And just like floor 2, floor 3, floor 4. You know, your crafters make the best gear in the game to give to the raiders. You know, the dungeon get crafting materials to give to the crafters. Like just an MMO that has more community base than any MMO in the market, because a lot of MMOs right now are like, here, queue for this dungeon, and you show up at the dungeon, nobody talks, nobody says a word, you do the dungeon, you leave.
Yep, like, that is not how dungeons worked back in the day.
No, and not at all.
Now it's like an excuse to just hurry up and get stuff.
Exactly.
And what's worse is not only are they eliminating those organic connections that happened back in the day. Now you're introducing people that are so impatient to get this gear that they'll come in and be like, "Oh, you're going too slow, or you're doing this wrong, or you're getting us killed, and I'm just going to leave you."
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like
there's like no responsibility. I remember there used to be like known people you didn't party with on servers because they would like troll or do whatever, and you're just like, no, we don't want them in the party. Now it's like you're pulling like names out of a hat and hoping you're getting good people.
Yeah,
it's not total asshats.
Yeah, so it's a lot different than it used to be. I will come out and say I'm going to be resubbing to WoW at some point before the next X pack, so that I can actually play the next X pack for the content.
I will be resubbing back to WoW for Vanilla Classic, to be honest.
For Vanilla Classic, you think that's going to be a big thing?
I'm going to be resubbing. Just because the reason I played WoW was for the community aspect, and like the fact that we had to go and like trade chat, be like, hey, who wants to come run Dead Mines with us? You know, oh, I will. And then you get to know the person. You're like, oh, we'll have a conversation about it. And now it's just like, oh, level 17, I'll just queue for Dead Mines. Oh, queue pop. You know, you don't know anybody. That's, I mean, I would have never found 6 minutes to release if there was like Raid Finder.
Yeah, you also wouldn't have found 6 minutes to release if it wasn't for Mr. Fails.
That's also true. Very, very much so.
Yes. Poor guy. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool. I always liked the rating content, like the way that worked. Yeah, when you're rating with people you know anyway. And it's I in a way I miss it, and another way I don't miss the time I had to put into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like having that time for other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how far it goes. So, but yeah, MMOs they're interesting. I think we'll see what happens with them. Yeah. I say they're dying, but I think dying's the wrong term. I think they need to evolve into something else at some point.
I think the current gen of MMOs is dying, and something there's definitely a spot open for like, hey, brand new MMO, come take its place. Because if you do something amazing with like community-based MMO, I think,
and that's gonna be the difference, is doing something brand new, something that hasn't been done before, or maybe repackaging something in a way that unleashes the full potential of what MMOs could be.
I agree. I mean, just look at everybody is so hyped about Destiny because it was like, oh my god, you can see players.
Yeah.
Like, just do it right, and you can like make something amazing, I think.
Unfortunately, Destiny 2 didn't do it right.
No, Destiny 2, just AAA titles in general this semester, like this year, were just.
That's the other thing. That's the other thing about MMOs, though, is that if for an MMO to succeed,
Yeah.
Does it have to be a AAA title?
Well, that's like.
Is there any room for an actual MMO from an independent developer?
There was the story that I was reading that this last 3 years, Kickstarter has funded so many MMOs that won't be ready for another like 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
So
Crazy.
But just because the game size, like the team size was small and the game scope is like MMOs, I'm sure take forever to make.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, I think that maybe there's gonna be like a gem in the desert somewhere where Kickstarter gets funded and it's like the next MMO. Because I think that's almost the only way we're gonna do it. Because I don't think big companies are like keen on the idea of just throwing more MMOs out there after like the failure of like WildStar and all those that try to copy WoW. They're like, eh.
Well, WildStar tried to copy WoW from the people who made WoW.
Yeah, but
and it wasn't even copying. I mean, the IP was entirely different. I mean, the game is based on humor, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's very tongue in cheek, very much fun.
Yeah,
I mean, WildStar, is that even a thing anymore?
Yeah, it is. It's free to play. Has like a solid like 1,000 players playing it on the average, I think, if that. There's still rating that goes on. I've checked it out here and there, like every couple of months, and it's the same thing. There's never going to be probably any updates to it, but it's a fun little game that I think came out at the wrong time and targeted the wrong audience at the time.
Right.
Yeah, it's still.
It wasn't always Carbine Studios behind it, was it?
Yeah, it was always Carbine.
What was it? Okay. I feel like I don't remember that name being out there. I associate Carbine with something else.
Carbuncle?
Huh?
I was gonna say Carbuncle. That's a Final Fantasy term.
No. Yeah, I can't think of it,
but yeah, I mean, hopefully one day. That's all I can hope, because I miss the glory days of the community that WoW had, and there's nothing really that takes that place right now.
Yeah, that's true. I fully agree. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, unless you guys get something else you want to
add. I just read this. So like it's this short conversation where oh man, this is freaking ridiculous. Someone said, did someone say incels? And someone replied, my boyfriend is obsessed with that sub. He said it's like watching animals at the zoo. And someone replied to that saying, incorrect. Every time I got to the zoo, there's always some animals banging.
That's banging good. Yeah. All right. So that's going to do it. We are, of course, the Six Gaming Podcast. You can check us out over at 6.gg. Of course, we're all streamers ourselves. Coles, you actually did something not too long ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to
go live. I'm like, what the heck? Coles is streaming again?
To be honest, my webcam just came for Christmas.
Whoa. I don't want to know what you're doing to your webcam.
Oh my God. No, so I got a brand new webcam for Christmas, and I'm like, oh man, I see that they have like actual like steps to become affiliate now. It's like stream more than like 8 hours, stream these days. The hardest part is getting 3 concurrent viewers at a time. Trying to play Final Fantasy.
It's interesting. Yeah, because okay, so a quick thing here. There's a gentleman I've talked about him before. He goes by Mr. Bondi's Quest for Semi-Glory on Twitch. Excellent streamer, probably one of the better ones I watch in terms of professionalism, how much fun he has playing the game, how animated he gets. He has maybe 2 viewers, and half the time I'm the only one there, and I don't understand because he is one of the more entertaining streamers I watch.
Like that's how it is. If you don't network, then you won't. Like it takes forever to get anyone to notice you.
That could absolutely be it.
But it's funny because if I play League of Legends, I get 7 viewers. If I play Final Fantasy, I get 0 viewers.
It's the same for me though. I mean, and I don't do it for viewers, but I'll stream Diablo 3 and have one person show up over the course of a 4.5 hour stream, and then I'll stream Undertale and there's 10 people in chat within 5 minutes.
Yeah, because everyone wants to watch that.
Yeah, that's the same with like Dark Souls. If you say Dark Souls first playthrough, I guarantee there's 20 people watching that because everybody loves to watch, those kind of things. Like, so.
But yeah,
it's all the game, I guess.
Anyway, but yeah, and you actually recently changed your Twitch handle, so
I did.
Pimp it out for us.
It is no longer Coles Gaming. It's twitch.tv/Cold6 because Coles was taken.
Spell it out. SIX, just like our website, six.gg.
Yep.
So cool. And Solo Mail is Solo Mail online, I believe.
Yes.
Twitch.tv/
Oh yeah, that.
Solo Mail.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the thing is that like I'm on Twitch so I can interact with chat. You know, like if I had like 5 viewers and all of them were active, that'd be 100 times better than if I had like 100 viewers and only 2 of them occasionally sent messages. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that entirely, because I had an issue where, unknown to me, a former friend of mine decided that he was going to run a contest where he was going to give away a VR set, right? And he made it so that you could do different things to get additional entries into the contest. He never told me this, but one of those was to follow my Twitch channel.
Ooh.
Yes. In the span of 2 days, I went from like 50 followers to 500 followers. Eventually, it went up over 1,500 followers.
Wow.
And it pretty much has leveled off there since. It's been just under 2 years since that happened.
Wow, remind me, like, if I ever get rich, to try that with someone that doesn't want it.
Oh my god. I don't think I've ever seen any of those people actually in my streams. Or if they have, they haven't told me that's how they found me. It's pretty unreal. It's pretty unreal that, you know, that's I probably still have people unfollowing me to this day, because I get follows, you know, usually a couple a week, and I'm still around 1,500 something. It's just like, okay, whatever. Follower count means so little. It's just like, but yeah, having quality viewers is definitely a big plus. And
quality.
Quality. Yeah, how cute. Koala. But anyway, of course, you can find me over at twitch.tv/Ronkly.
Yeah, make sure to always watch him and follow him.
And enjoy when I fail. Apparently, that's like the new thing to do on my channel, outside of like Undertale. Like fail, yes.
Undertale, I hear, gets really, really hard, so I'm excited to see it.
Oh, really? Okay. I was actually told that doing the papyrus dating was, on the first try, was pretty impressive. Granted, I ended with like 1 or 2 HP. But still was first try. So apparently I'm doing okay. So we'll see. I'm terrible at avoid the stuff.
The bullet hell?
Really bad at that kind of...
Wait.
Not bullet hell, but just like avoid the... there's mobile games like the main game behind Undertale, which is to move your heart around and avoid all the things coming at you. I'm terrible at those kind of games. I can do bullet hells.
What? You can do bullet hells, but you can't do bullet hells if you only have to focus on dodging?
Well, they're not bullets.
No, they're bones.
Yeah, they are.
They're not all bullets.
I mean...
but yeah,
I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. So anyway, that'll do it. And we'll be back hopefully next week, same time, 8 p.m. Pacific, or as Shosan likes to say, 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Even, well, it is standard right now. Probably for another 2 months, unless Donald Trump makes it like daylight time for the whole year. I'm waiting for that.
Well, his button does work, so
his button it is way bigger than yours. I can guarantee you. It's the biggest I know. Okay. Anyway, we're going to finish up here. We're done. Thanks, guys, for watching, and we're going to go ahead and sign off here and see you next week. Until next time, Coles, take it away.
Say goodbye.